everyone, welcome back to Wizarding Alice. My name is Alice. On this channel we cover all things Harry Potter and Wizarding World, and today is no different. But before I get into that, I just turned the camera on. I thought, oh my god, I look so old. I've also got so many baby hairs standing up at the moment. Like, you know, obviously you see yourself every day, so you don't notice all these small changes, and then one day it just hits you like, oh, I'm looking much older. Don't know, weird little epiphany I had there, but it's got nothing to do with the video today. But today I am actually going to go and see the new Fantastic Beasts film, Secrets of Dumbledore. I'm very interested to go and see it. Today is the first day that it's out in cinemas. The UK's got it before everyone else, hence why, if you're confused why I'm seeing it a bit earlier than maybe you are, that's why. But yeah, I'm really excited to go. Love going to the cinema regardless. I'm really interested to see what I think about this film. Yeah, first Fantastic Beasts I thought was fine. Second one I pretty much hated. So I'm very nervous about this third one. It's not going in the direction I would maybe have liked another Harry Potter series to go, but you know what? Maybe this one will blow me away. I know they're doing a fair bit in Hogwarts, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens. Obviously I have very mixed feelings about going to see this film in general. Number one, because I know a lot of people are boycotting it because of Johnny Depp's firing, essentially, which I share similar sentiments on, and also obviously because J.K. Rowling continues to make comments that I certainly don't agree with and makes me incredibly angry. So I have very mixed feelings about paying to go and see this film. On the one hand, I run a Harry Potter YouTube channel, and I think keeping up to date with Harry Potter goings on is really important, but at the same time I do have that objection to supporting someone who I just so wholly disagree with. I think what I might do, although I want to ruminate on it a bit first, is make a video at some point really talking about my thoughts and feelings on all of that. But long story short, I am going to go and see the film, and I'm going to review it and do reactions and things like that. But so that's this video. I probably should have said that at some point, so look forward to it, hopefully. But right now I want to make it very clear that I am wholly against pretty much everything J.K. Rowling stands for, quite significantly, and I'm also against some of Warner Brothers' decisions recently. I think we'll leave it at that for here, because that's not what this video is, but I did just want to kind of put in a disclaimer, because I know people have very strong feelings, as do I, about this film in particular. But yeah, I'll probably do a video at some point about that. But yeah, with that being said, very long intro. I'm hoping what I'll do is I'll obviously go and see the film, can't film that, and then hopefully do a first reaction, and then I'll sit down most likely tomorrow and do a proper sort of thoughtful thoughts about the film. Hopefully I'll be in a better mental state than I am right now. But yeah, with that being said, let's finally get into the video.
Many hours later.
Well, that was a film. It was a film I watched for 2 hours. I hated every second of it. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10 as my immediate reaction. Hey everyone, it is the next day, the next morning since seeing Secrets of Dumbledore, and I thought I'd sit down and give my general thoughts. I haven't really thought what I'm gonna say. I'm kind of just gonna wing it, so if you're looking for like a structured review from an actual movie critic, this is not the video for you, I'll tell you that now. And spoilers abound. Also, I can't separate what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler in my head, so I'm sorry, but this will have spoilers. Yeah, you could probably tell from my immediate reaction, I thought the film sucked, to be perfectly honest. And if you're watching this video and have never come across my channel before, I am a die-hard Harry Potter fan. I want to make that very clear. So every time I go into one of these films, I have very high expectations and hope that I'm not expecting them to live up to the original trilogy. I want them to be separate and different and have their own tone and their own adventures and things like that. So I really do want them to succeed, and they're just not succeeding. The first one was okay, didn't love it, but I was like, okay, we can develop from here. Second one was really boring. That's like the cardinal sin of films for me, is when they're boring. I'd happily watch a really bad movie as long as I was entertained by it, you know. And I hiccuped out of nowhere. Sorry, that's how angry I am. And the third one that I just watched last night, it was just awful. It was so boring. Again, the tone was all over the place. Like, literally, you'd go from like jokes that were like kind of for children, which obviously I'm fine with. I think they should try and market these films more towards children than anyone else. But like, okay, it turns out I've got hiccups now, so that might happen. I think it should be geared towards children, which is totally fine, but there were some jokes that would come in and it was clearly for children, to the point that I didn't find it funny at all. So I was like, that's fine, you know, that bit's obviously just not for me, which is totally fine. And then it would completely switch immediately from that to like killing an animal, like just slaughtering an animal, and it was like really dark and a lot of comparisons to Nazism and all that kind of thing. It's just like, what is this film trying to be? It needs to pick a lane. They either need to say these are going to be dark, gritty films that are more aimed towards older teenagers and adults and people who maybe grew up with Harry Potter when they came out, or it needs to be like, this is more lighthearted, more like the original like first two Harry Potter films, more for children, adventure stories, things like that. And I think they should really go with the latter, to be honest, and just make them adventures about chasing animals. And that was another, like, there was like no animals in this. There was like the phoenix and the chillin. Those were like the only two animals. Like, the film is called Fantastic Beasts. And like, there were some positives, like it was a very beautiful film. Obviously the costumes were fantastic and I thought it was acted well. It just wasn't written well. The plot was so thin. They clearly were making it up as they go along, just as they are for this entire film franchise. It was so obvious they had no idea what was even going to happen in the next scene. And a character would be here, and then in the next scene they'd be in a different country, and then it would flash back and they'd be back over here, but not in a way that made any kind of cohesive sense or had any kind of relevance to the plot or the storytelling or anything. It was just so all over the place. The writing was bad, the direction wasn't great, and it just wasn't like edited or put together well, and it was just really, really frustrating to watch. When, I mean, I am in no way a filmmaker or scriptwriter or anything, but I know I could come up with better ideas than what they're coming up with. There are thousands of Harry Potter related content creators online who come up with amazing ideas for sequels, for, you know, the franchise, for what they wanted to do, and it's like, just pick one of them. Like, you're not doing a good job at all. I thought Mads Mikkelsen did a really good job, especially considering the circumstances. I think I'm very conflicted. I don't know if J.K. Rowling just puts her name on these things and has nothing to do with them. And if that's the case, if I were her, I'd basically say stop making them or take my name off them. And if she is involved, she needs to stop. She needs to just retire, because I don't know how else to say it. It was just really bad. And I was angry the entire time watching it. Where was Tina? The whole film. She got a promotion, so she featured right in the last 5 minutes. Okay, could the actress just not film the film? It just seemed, it was so bizarre to me. And based on what I've seen online, there's no reason for her not to have been in the entire film. It was like they didn't know what to do with her. It's like, okay, well, in this film they introduced like 4 or 5 brand new characters, 3 of which I could think off the top of my head were of no use to the plot. Like, they could have easily just not been there and the plot would not have really changed. Why not add her in there instead of having these like brand new characters that appear out of nowhere and are really, really boring? Like, oh my god, the new characters are so boring. And another problem as well is the contradictions to the original lore, and that's what really gets me. Like, this is an example, I might have been misremembering, but this is the kind of thing. So Dumbledore takes them into the Room of Requirement, right? But I'm pretty sure in the original lore, Dumbledore didn't even know about the Room of Requirement until the 90s. So that was one of those. Now again, I could be misremembering and that might not be the best example, but there's just a million things like that where you just think, this doesn't make any sense. And I was wondering if the creature in the sort of prison that they go and visit was... It really, really looked like it was a blast-ended Scroot. It's like, well, Hagrid invented a blast-ended Scroot, so there's no way for that to be there. Of course, the fact that McGonagall is there makes zero sense, but obviously that was... People talked about that in the last film as well, and it's just... It's a real insult, I think, to the fans and people like my age and older who kind of grew up with the Harry Potter films. I think it's a real insult that they just think we wouldn't notice all these major contradictions and, honestly, in my opinion, laziness in a lot of the way they've made these films. And then you think, okay, well, they're not marketing it towards us, they're marketing it towards a younger audience, which again would be fine as a way to like get them into the wizarding world. But I was at the cinema and there were a lot of children of varying ages and they were all so bored, talking, fidgeting, going to the toilet a million times because it was just boring. It just wasn't, because they didn't commit either way to one audience or the other. So yeah, this probably wasn't the review you were hoping for. I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm going to get a million angry comments from people are going to think it's amazing no matter what, which is fine. You're obviously entitled to your own opinion, but just as you're entitled to yours, I'm entitled to mine. So I'm more than happy to have a good debate in the comments if you loved it, but please be polite, I guess, is all I'm saying. But yeah, so long story short, I'd give it like a 2 out of 10, and that's about it. So yeah, I think we're getting 2 more films. So I mean, I'll go and see them, of course. But let's see if they can maybe pick it up towards the end. But yeah, that's it for me. Maybe not such a positive video this time, but thank you so much for watching. I put out a new video every single Sunday, and next Sunday's video is a very exciting one, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you next time. Bye!